Hello, my beauties. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? It's been a minute. It's been a while. I have a lot to catch up on. I am Fortunata Hope. I am a makeup lover of all brands. Brands, non-brands, drugstore, non-drugstore, beauty salon, beauty supply store salon, makeup. If that's your thing, you love makeup, well then come on in. Welcome and welcome back to all my subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, it's free. It's way cheaper than gas. Okay. But go ahead, join the crew. I might be hiatus, MIA for a minute, but when I do come back, I explain the situation. So go ahead, subscribe, like the video, if you like the content, and leave a comment. I always subscribe. I always respond to my messages, and any YouTubers that's on here on my channel, I follow back, I subscribe, and I watch and follow them as well. So I'm gonna do a voiceover because I don't know if you can hear my neighbors, as always, is having a little get together or doing something in the yard, and they DJing their music. So after this little intro coming up, we're gonna go right into the makeup, and I'm gonna tell you where I've been. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, let me color correct, because as you see, your girl has been going through and through. So let's see. This title of this, let me use, I've been started off on Fenty Beauty's color corrector in the color Pumpkin. I'm liking it. It is a little, and I mean a little, I mean like a little tab, because I made the mistake and put a whole bunch, and I came out looking like literally a pumpkin with foundation. So just gonna put this on. Fenty. I've already done my brows. I'm just gonna color correct. So where have I been? Y'all probably, girl, what's going on? I'm in a storm, still currently in the storm. If some of y'all know, person that I've talked to and on my channel here on YouTube, been looking to move since March, and then I decided, you know how you make plans to stay the road and just make it through, because you know the plans that you had didn't go as planned. Other things came up, so I was like, okay, we're just gonna stay the road and just stay here. I'm using Milk Primer, and that's everything doesn't go the way you planned, and I finding out the hard way. A little bit too much, but it's all good. So property management was all cool and dandy and everything, and so they started tripping real hard, and I mean tripping. So it was a mess, royal mess. The whole month of, I'm gonna let this settle, it was just tacky. So I'm going with my foundation. I'm going with Bobbi Brown. I was trying between Bobbi Brown and Too Faced Born This Way, Butter Pecan, and this is Warm Golden. So, and when in doubt, have a backup on top of the backup, on top of the backup. So I'm just gonna pump. I'm gonna pump it on my hand. So back to what I was saying. I'm gonna go in with a sponge, a damp sponge. So anyway, I'm just gonna dot this on. So they started tripping in April, like right before my birthday. It's giving me a good complexion. Looks good. And just want to put some on as a little sheen and then go in with my brush. I need a couple more pumps. That was just one pump. So they were sounding like they were all, you know, oh, we let her renew her lease, which is at the end of May, and you know, everything will be good. And so I thought. These people just started losing their mind. It's a small property management company, some little hick town out in the sticks somewhere, up 35 going north of San Antonio. Selma, whatever. You know, I don't know. So anyway, I'm going in. Another one. Anyways, they just started losing it. They had already, I didn't know until I had to call the Fair Housing Commission and San Antonio Board, that they just had a complaint from my neighbors across the street who it was a black family who just moved in October of last year. They had just moved in and they forced them out. They moved out April 1st. So they just took over this property. That looks good. That looks real good. That looks real good. But you know me, I need a little bit more full coverage, so we're gonna go on with the brush. And they forced them out. They just packed up and left in the middle of the night. When I mean the middle of the night, the middle of the night. So after that, they moved out the weekend of my son's girlfriend's baby shower, which was the 2nd of April. And by Wednesday of that week, which would have been like the 6th or 7th of April, a young white couple moves in. And next thing I know, they're on me. So anyway, I in the storm. I'm just like, okay, didn't think about it. I'm going in with my Too Faced Warm Sand Concealer under my eyes. So anyway, they started on me. They were requesting that they do inspection to see if they will allow you to renew. I never heard of anything like that, so I was like, okay, whatever. So then we had a situation where they had some contractors or what have you to I'm looking for my concealer brush, that they were wrong one again. That they were going to fix the fence, where it knocked everybody else's internet down, because the people that they hired to do it hit the main line for the internet. So then my inspection was the next day. So I was like, okay. No, as far as I knew, there was no problem. They did the inspection, but really, they were treating units and stuff for pesticides and stuff. And basically, the pesticide man came upstairs and did the inspection for upstairs. I have an upstairs, downstairs. So the assistant manager never came upstairs, whatever. So after that, I was like, okay. She said they didn't meet their standards and that they were not going to allow me to renew. And I was like, okay, can I go month to month? And next thing I know it, she was like, I need a letter. This was Easter weekend. She was like, I need you to send me a notice that you agree to go month to month. And then the month to month, they were at $200 on, because they were also going up on the rent. So I was like, okay, no problem. Give me enough time, because my plan was to be out of here by June, because I was not going to be paying that additional $200. But it didn't work out that way. I'm still here. So, make a long story short, from that point on, I did what she said, and come to find out on April 27th, they had already made a decision that they were not going to allow me to go month to month. And they made that decision on April 15th, the day she came, did the little inspection thing. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't find out until April 27th, because I'm thinking I'm waiting for the paperwork, whatever, to come through email. I'm using my Laura Mercier translucent honey, and to set my concealer. I've been using this a lot. I need to use it because I have so much of it. So anyway, oh shit, I got that right in my waterline. And I didn't get it. They sent me a notice in the mail, or email, that, oh, since I'm not going, they're not allowing me to go month to month. I have until, 45 days or 30 days or what have you, when my lease is up. There was a whole bunch of confusion, and I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? And I did what the lady stated. And come to find out, she never told the manager, the owner of the property management, that she told me that. So there was the confusion right there. And I had a witness of it, my son, who was here. And from that point on, it went from me getting cursed out, damn near, they were threatening me, they were harassing me and my family the whole time. That looks real good. So anyway, after that, every day, May 5th, it was on a Friday. From that point, I'm like, oh, concealer. I'm using like my old trusty dusty Fenty. I got powder on my hands. Fenty's Cocoa Nati. Use that. And I love this stuff. And after that, it was just crazy. They were popping up here. I work from home. They knew it. They were popping up, giving me notices, changing the dates of when I'm supposed to be out. Still, I'm on a lease from the old property management, who all the stuff that they are doing with this property management, it should have been done with the old property management. So, just contour my nose. So then that's when everything just really hit. The harassment from them. And the popping up, the text messages, the emails, the whole shebang thing. It was just crazy, I'm praying, I'm looking for other properties. Now, when you're in a storm, or you've been in a storm before, you know what to look out for. So you think, even though it could be a different situation, just gonna contour my nose. And sometimes it seems familiar. Sometimes it's different. And this was kind of familiar for me because back in the early 2000s, almost a decade ago. And that looks good. I still feel like I need a little bit more bronzer on this side. This one came out perfect. So I kind of saw that this was kind of like to be the same thing. Oh, that looks real good. Anyway, let me set my face. I'm going with Morphe Continuous Spray. I bet it, yeah. Just pat in. And go for a little look, glowy look, clean look. So anyway, I have been through it before, similar, just in California. I was in a bad accident, car accident, on my way to work, third shift, and I was on the night of my son's birthday, and I was injured, neck, head, my back. So I couldn't work due to the injuries. So at that time, it was just, you know, going in with the primer from the eyelids, you know, just my trusty dusty Makeup Revolution Prime and Lock. Let me use this nice brush. And couldn't work. Me and my daughter were the only ones working. My son had just started college. Joshua, who's now a father, I'm a grandmother now. Baby was born last Saturday. And he had just graduated from high school. Nick and Noah was still young. Nick just graduated from high school last Saturday. So anyways, it was just a lot going on. I'm going in with, let me use this L'Oreal Translucent to set that. I'm going the other eye. So, the apartment complex was working with me at that time in Cali, knowing I was just an injury. I had to go on temporary disability and end up, you know, we ended up losing the apartment. We got evicted. So the place that we moved from Cali here to Texas, we had been in that apartment ever since. If anything, we moved downstairs to a bigger unit that had a patio and a yard, because we still had the dogs. They were still small at that time. And besides, it was a 2-1 apartment that we had moved in, and I needed, so we handled that for a year until a 1-bedroom, 2 came available. So we did that. We made it through that and got into a 2-2. Paid off the debt and everything, had the letter. Everything was good. I was able to get apartments, townhouses here in San Antonio when I got here. I'm going using Morphe's 3503 Fierce of Nature. It's summer. Fierce of Nature. So this is what the palette looks like. Real summery. So I'm going in with Ferocious, which is this shade right here. So we, we've been through it. Me and my family, we've gone through a lot of stuff. We've gone through a lot. I'm gonna do this, but I need my mirror. This one has no mirror in it. So we're going to sit there. Ooh. So we have gone through some things. So I went through that. They still had it on my credit, but I had the letter from the attorney saying that it was all paid off of and everything else. So now to current, dealing with this property management and their shenanigans and abuse and whatnot. They just harassing, straight up harassing, popping up, intimidating my 17-year-old son. The whole thing. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm calling Fair Housing Authority, Texas Commission of Civil Rights to find out what can I do, what have you. But still, they're still doing it. So, went to the church, start putting in applications, whatever, and that's when they were showing up, the eviction, what have you, from California was on there. And going through the storm, you're all cluttered. You can't really think. You're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. You're trying to, keep calm, keep cool, and do what you need to do, right? And that's what I was doing. I'm gonna go in. I need an orange color. I need an orange color. So that's what I was doing. Trying to get ready for my son's graduation. Still trying to work. Well, work working. Work got a little hectic and crazy. So I'm just trying to stay afloat. So this is looking pretty. Oh, it's a pretty color. Same brush that I use as a transition. This is my Morphe 504. And still trying to do all that, you know what I'm saying? Still trying to just maintain while I'm going through the storm. And I'm praying up. Stay and pray. Went to the church. Church is like telling me, call this person, call this department, call this, call that. Then they were giving me, some people in the church had, was realtors or what have you. So I was calling them, explaining the situation. But then you get to the point, you're like, I'm tired of explaining the same situation because people are gonna look at you differently. Like, oh, she got this going on, trying to put it in another place, And a lot of fear took over for me. And when I was going through that issue in California, I didn't know, how you go through and you're stressing and you go through everything, whatever, and it affects your hair, you're losing your hair, your weight's up and down, this and that, your digestive, your nerve system. Well, it affected, when I was going through this similar situation, the one in California was because of the fact that I was injured and hurt. This is out of spite. This one is out of spite. And now it's turned to racism because they're a young, white, Caucasian, 29, 32-year-old, just started a new property management, and they got all big-headed because they took the properties from a bigger, well-known property management because the owner went from them to these newbies, and now they're trying to make their name out here in San Antonio, Texas. So this doesn't make no sense. It's not like I can't pay my rent. I can pay my rent. I'm working. What's the problem? And you want to come up with every excuse that's not even legit reasons why you won't renew or you want us out. So going through all that, I was just like, my digestive system, I found out when I was going through this in California, I have diverticulitis, inflammation of my diverticulate. of my intestines, my tracts, and my digestive system. And I have to watch what I eat. Give me some spicy food, whatever, you know. I got to have something hot. But this flared it up to where my stomach, I was walking around here looking like I was 5.5 months pregnant, full of air, gas, toxin in my stomach. And the doctor ended up putting me on a liquid diet, May 8th. And I lost 22.5, almost 23 pounds. So my face is not, you know, I'm like, okay, but I wasn't eating solid food. And I was on this medication that basically, the antibiotics and the medication they put me on was $173.37 for 12 pills. And I had to take them twice a day. So for 6 days, I was like, blood pressure was up. Everything was just wrong. Everything was just wrong. This is looking real pretty. Now I might have to go because I lost my orange, the brown. So I just want to smooth this out. Took a little too high, but it's looking good now. So dealing with that, putting in applications, and I put in more than my share that I thought I would needed to do for applications for places. But here was the thing, back to what I was saying, when you're clouded or what have you, you're just trying to, okay, let me go see this place, let me go do this, let me go do that. And when it came up and they were like, oh, you got denied, I was like, got denied for what? And so they were like, oh, and it didn't dawn on me. So I started, you know, getting my paperwork, major paperwork, and I saw this letter. And I was like, this is the attorney from back in Cali. And I opened it. There was the letter that would have cleared everything to show that I paid everything. I paid it all in balance. A year later, that debt of that eviction was paid for. And I had it. So I was like, what? So I was talking to my son. He goes, go back and call the people that you had called or you applied, what have you, and see if they'll take this, because this right here shows that debt is cleared. So I was working and trying to call everybody. Of course, the properties got rented out, so I missed out. But they were like, oh, we have some other properties. So everything was cool with the property management for me searching for properties. It was the owners who had to make the final decision. So still, you know, the owners were like, you know, we don't want to take a chance. She's got, you know, it's on my credit report. I got to get it off my credit report. But I have the letter to show that, oh shit, shoot. It was, I'm trying to put this brown in my outer. But it was still showing on my credit report, and the owners were just like, no. I came close to a couple of them. I've even stepped out of my kind of zone. I was even looking in the hood. You know that ain't happening. So through all that, you know, still trying to take face, you know, dealing with my illness, the flaring. And that looks real good now. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out what I put on the center. Spray my blush, maybe use a flat brush. And I'm gonna do a nice, I'm gonna do this color, pack it on. And oh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's real pretty. Oh yeah, she'll work. Anyway, dealing with all of that, trying to stay calm. Y'all know, through all the callings of them coming to my house and emails, your girl did not pop off. I did not pop off. I didn't curse nobody out. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. I held my tongue. The disrespect, the threats, what have you. I'm in a storm. I'm not knowing what's going to be the end result. I'm praying for the best outcome of the whole thing. And I held my tongue. The everything. Through it all, even to this date. I held my tongue. Went to the church. Pastor was like, pastor, the elder, the first lady, they were like, oh my God. It could have got worse. And that was a lot. Even my son, who was here when the lady was here and how she was talking, what she was saying, even my son was, you know, he was like, Mom, they could have got it that day, but I was not going to have my son. My son had too much respect for her as a woman and what have you. I wasn't about to have my 18-year-old son getting caught up in some drama of some mess of some people who's just being evil. And she's not going back explaining what she told this man. By this time, it was very obvious and clear. She wasn't going back telling him what she had told me. And like he said, she works for him. So he has the final say so. But she was making decisions that he didn't even know and wasn't aware of, but he was that day. So dealing with that, dealing with everything else, trying to, you know, pay regular bills, trying to do this, trying to do that. So I had some outside advice, what have you, of how to deal with it. And, you know, when you're in a storm, whatever, you know, you have the outside advice, which is some good. And then you have some other outside advice that basically can make the whole thing worse than what it is. And I'm like, if you're going to give me some advice, send me to a source or somebody or whatever so that I can get some help and get some clear understanding as to what is freaking going on. And this is absolutely gorgeous. And so it got just to the point I was just like, dude, do I need to clean up anything? This is gorgeous. Ooh, fiery girl. Okay, I need to bring this a little upper there. I'll get up in that crease. Give me a little definition. There we go. Give me a little definition in my crease. So anyway, dealing with that, trying to stay sane, you know, trying not to let inner advice, outer advice make the situation worse. You know, people were just like, you know, what is your man doing? This. And I'm like, my man was in the fields for, let me just finish up my phrase. Where's my blush? Blush I'm going to use, this is what I wanted to use. I just got this. I think my daughter jacked me for my big fluffy brush when she came for the graduation. I'm using Sephora. Got a new one, 58 almond. Just want to set everything with this. I think she jacked me for my brush. I'm using LYS's brush. So anyway, he was in the field 45 days in, 2 weeks or a week really out, and then he's back in the field. So the whole time I'm sitting dealing with this, I'm going in with he just got it, I think it was March, the Lip Bar Glow and Highlight Blush Outspoken. And oh, and So I really couldn't talk to him. I would text them because I knew that if they had a chance, they could check their phones or they got to a signal because they're out in the field. They're out there in no man's land out there on the base up in Killeen. So I was like dealing with that. Then, you know, attitudes and everything, tension and stuff here in the house started flaring. So I had dealing with the property management, my camp, my man ain't here. I'm trying to find me a place. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. And I'm sick. I'm ill. My stomach's bloated out. I'm walking like lost weight. These puppies got big. And I'm like, how did my boobies get big? And I lost all that weight. I'm like, do I have fluid? I'm back and forth going to the doctor's office. And still, you know, I'm posting on Instagram because, you know, I was looking very pale. Well, pale and dark circles. My eyes had sunk pretty bad. I mean, dark circles around here was bad. You saw before I put the corrector on what my face looked like. But the whole time I'm praying, I'm asking God, and I'm just like, Lord, here we go again. What is this? And Pastor Steady was saying, hold my tongue. Don't, because it can be a bad situation. I'm gonna use a smudger. Well, that's not my smudger. Using smudging brush for, I'm gonna go those colors that I put under my eye. We're almost done, y'all. Almost done. And it was just horrible. People were contacting me, Instagram, people that had my phone number, they were texting me, and I just started posting my INs on my Instagram and not knowing what somebody else could be going through or maybe the same thing. I posted on my Instagram because you never know. Just like me telling the story, what's going on, why I've been gone for so long. Somebody could be going through the same, something similar, or the same thing. They could be in a storm too. And maybe the little encouragement or see that somebody's going through something can help them as well. And that's what I'm doing. Playing in my makeup. I mean, I put on my makeup, you know, for my son's graduation last weekend and everything else, but I mean, for those occasions. But I'm like, I'm seeing the makeups, I'm seeing the contents coming out on, you know, people putting out contents and trying to start getting rid of some stuff. And I'm like, ooh, I didn't know I had that. Ooh, I didn't know I had that. Where you been? So, when I say all that, I say all this, no matter what you're going through, you just gotta, my faith is tight. My faith, let me do this real quick. I have faith. I have faith and trust in God that's gonna see me through. But you know, you have like, how can I do this? The mechanical way and the makeup way. Let me do it real quick. You have the bolts, the washer, what have you, and they're sitting there. Just like you have your foundation, your primer, your foundation, your concealer, you have to blend it in to make it stick and lock it in. You have a flawless look. You have your bolts, what have you, to hold it together, right? So, mine's just needed, I need to be more grounded. So, my bolts need to be a little more tighter on and grounded more. But like on the makeup side, you have to use a setting spray or what have you, setting powder, whatever, to bring it all together and tie it together to let it set so it's grounded. It's not going to move. It's not going to waver. It's not going to teeter-totter. And that's the best way that I can say it as far as the makeup world of what I was dealing with in this storm. And I got an application in for a place. This is the longest I've waited so far for a response on anything because we have to be out of here. Now they're saying June 30th. Then they're talking about, oh, we might just, you know, because I ain't paying no rent for June because I'm trying to get out of here. I am trying to get out of here. I'm going with the old dusty OG makeup MAC bronzer gold deposit. Can somebody put a gold deposit in my account? Because right now, the reason why I'm not paying rent right now is because I got to pay deposit, and on that deposit's looking pretty close to $3,200. And your girl, after paying, if I pay the rent and then trying to move, your girl ain't gonna have no money to move. Then risk it's gonna be a repeat of California, to where I have to put everything in storage, and we might have to go in a hotel, and that's the worst case scenario. So that's why I've chose, yes, I made a mistake or whatever, but if everything goes as planned in the Lord's will, we will be out of here in 2 weeks, because that's basically when the place will be available. So with that all being said and done, I say this. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to use. Let me use chestnut. Forget it. I say this. Tighten up your faith, because you never know. It may not be the exact what I'm going through. It could be a job. It could be a marriage, a relationship, a friendship, whatever. Tighten up your faith. Tightening your faith on my makeup level, like you have faith in your makeup. It's going to beautify you and everything else. I got this, I don't know if I want to use this Revlon Queen Liquids Color Stay ink. I saw a display of it, and I was like, it's nice, it's pretty. Who was it? Megan Stallion was on the billboard. Megan Stallion. So I want to try it out. Oh, that's pretty. So that's kind of what my story, where I've been, what's going on. I figure I wanted to come on because I haven't really sat down and talked to y'all. I haven't really filmed since I think I did the one for my birthday month, which was April. And I'm coming up on 1 year sorry y'all, I'm trying to get these lit. I'm coming up on 1 year on YouTube. Something's missing and y'all know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. If I can find the right pen. Is this the right one? It's gonna be the right one today. I'm coming up on 1 year. No, this ain't the one, but she gonna do. Where are you at? pause. All right, I found my liners. I used this is the little combo one. I used Sephora's 24-hour. This is in peacock blue, and I used NYX aqua green. This one first, Sephora first, and then I topped it with peacock, with aqua. So this is the final look. I threw on some mascara, and I'm done. So basically, in the storm, weathering a storm, stay true to yourself. You know, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. If I've done something wrong to somebody, I will admit. I have no problem. But when I haven't done anything wrong and you're just coming at me out of spite, out of color, I've never been through anything like that. And it affected my health. It affected I was mentally, emotionally, physically drained for over a month. The whole month of May. This is just what, the 11th of June? And I went through that. And I didn't waver. I didn't revert back to, I didn't cuss. I didn't fuss. Even they were disrespecting me. I took it. And I was like, I ain't got time for it. Because I was starting to think like, I'm getting soft. I had just turned 52 in April 21st. And I'm like, am I getting soft? And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. But stand still. Lord is saying, be still, I will fight your battles in the middle of the storm. And I went through it. And even in the midst of my storm, I was still blessed. Small blessings, medium blessings, big blessings. And now that we're waiting on the big blessing for that approval of a house. This is a townhouse. Okay, it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I'm unit 2, and the next one's unit 1. We hear all the the stuff out in the yard. This is a townhouse. I'm getting a full house. So that's the big blessing. So when I come back on sometime in June, mid-June or what have you, be a different setting, a different place or whatever. Even if I am still here, something bigger and better is coming for us. We got into June 30th. So we might see some containers and boxes and stuff when I do video again. But I just wanted to come on and basically just let y'all know what was going on, what's going on with your girl. Thanks for everybody who reached out to me personally, text message, DM message. I'm posting the I am affirmations. Somebody that got all frantic, like, girl, what's going on? I see you keep on posting this. Just like I stated before, not knowing, I may not be going through anything, but I wanted to post something to encourage somebody else, not knowing what they may be going through, similar or what have you, or they just need an uplift, an encouragement. And that's what I do. That's what I try to do. Through my storm, yes, I lost a lot of weight. I couldn't even wear, this is the only ring because I have a busted knuckle. And this one, I couldn't even wear my man's ring because it kept on sliding off and I didn't want to lose it. I lost the band because I didn't know it slid off. So through all that, I still have faith. Faith over fear. I allowed my fear to override me and scare me to where I went into my whole body, my digestive system bubbling. When you could feel what you eat and drink, well, I couldn't eat anything, but you gotta drink. You could feel it travel through, and then it's making these noises, and it's just blowing up, and you just sitting here in your desk over here, working in a meeting, and you're sitting up and your chest is just filling up. Ain't nothing but stress and strain. That was my fear. Now, faith over fear, always. Keep the faith. Tighten up. Matter of fact, let me set my face. Let me set it with some Revolution Superfix. No, I'm almost done with this Morphe Continuous Spray. I'm almost done. Let me just set it. She ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. I probably run to the stove. I gotta cook dinner. I just barely started eating solid foods the 31st of May. So I had to watch what I eat. Small proportions, but that's all a story I could tell at the end of my storm. As my testimony, only I can tell that story. My kids can tell their story. They have their version of how we made it through, but this is mine. I have my story to tell. So again, I know this is a lengthy one. You're like, girl, you're always lengthy, but I'm trying, but I wanted to come and touch base with y'all and let y'all know that your girl's still here. Just a little bit more blush. Your girl's still here. I'm still kicking. I'm still here, y'all. Yeah, chica, she's still here. Yeah, I'm gonna be all right. All is good. God is good. Weathering a storm brings strength after the storm. There'll be sun, there'll be brightness, be bright as this lightness blazes in my eye. So there's always a lesson learned, growth to be gained, faith to have, trust and believe and receive in His name. Always in His name, Jesus Christ. So I ain't trying to get all preachy on y'all. I'm looking mighty good. I might have to go shower this. I gotta take some IG pictures. I'm still rocking the head, the wig, because my hair started thinning out right here. I got the henna treatment and everything, but I'm good. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being my supporters. This is my month of being a year. June 20th will be a year. I decided to hit that button and do a YouTube channel, do a YouTube video. And so I'm gonna say thank you. And I'm coming back slowly but surely, but once the storm is completely over and we're in a new place or what have you, I'm gonna be back on my grind, putting my videos, because I got some contents, I got some hauls. I'm gonna show y'all how to, balling on a budget. How to hit them brand sales and everything else, and then you only spend, we're gonna start with $40 and see how much you get where you buy out of that $40. I just did it for my birthday prior to the storm. So, but yeah, I'm back. Most likely I'll probably post a video tomorrow, but I wanted to give just a little, I'm always cracking right here. I don't know why. I know my nose. Just wanted to give you a little update on what's going on with your girl Fortunata. And on that note, I'm signing off because this is already a long video. I already know, I see the time. Anywho, have a blessed one. Remember, treat people the way you want to be treated. Stay true to yourself. Don't waver. Don't get bossy. Don't get demanding. Be who you are in your storm or out of a storm, because you never know what could happen or what could be on your way. You gotta have the tools to fight the battle and stand in it to tell your story. So with all that being said, stay strong, stay beautiful, stay prayed up. I'm Fortunata, your girl. Much love. I love you, and see you soon. Bye.